Have you ever noticed how people can be so negative? It is always one thing after another for these types of individuals. There are also ones that only have negativity to deliver to us, whether directly or indirectly. They will send long-winded emails or texts filled with negativity. And we don't read through all these emails. We pick out 2 or 3 key words in the multi-paragraphed essay. Truth is, these people are hurt. And to soothe their bruised ego, they try to hurt us or others around them. And when they see they are affecting us, they go all the way in for the kill to dismantle our self-esteem. The toxicity is real. Believe it or not, I'm not the most liked person these days because I stand up strong for what is right and remain firm on opposing injustice. I realized I was well liked before when I was passive, wimpy, and nonchalant. Just a yes man. I began to realize if the things now that are said about me at times were truthful, I wouldn't be able to step outside of my home each day because I would be a wanted man. Wanted posters with my face and name all over them in every city. Now that may be a bit extreme, but that's how I feel sometimes. These individuals go out of their way to tarnish our image so they can appear as an angel of light, when all the while they are the ones that are full of crap. Everyone wants honesty, but soon we eventually realize who can actually handle the truth, and you also find out quickly the ones that can't wait to hate. It is always us and never them. There's a saying I will paraphrase that goes along the lines of this. A Jew will always tell you what was done to them, but never what they did to you. This wording applies to everyone in our lives that has this type of behavior. It is always us and never them. You also have the ones that go out of their way to communicate with us for whatever reason. And surely we are not looking for them or trying to engage in any form of dialogue with them. We are noticeably ignoring them, and they still are seeking ways to communicate with us, negative or positive. We just want to be left alone. But let's look into the definition of negativity, with the root word being negative. Negativity is defined as the expression of criticism or of pessimism about something. I've noticed that the common denominator with each negative person is they are scarred emotionally by something in their lives that they have not yet accepted the role they played in that hurt, or it was something totally out of their control that they had no part in the hurtful outcome, and they have not fully healed. These are hurting individuals that seem to feel good when they can express negativity to others. Therapy sessions do not help them because they have an inability to tell the truth and take accountability for their actions. In relationships, ask ourselves, did we linger around too long when we know we should have left? Now, this doesn't give a person full rights to ruin our life, but they did get used to us allowing them to use us as their personal punching bag or their sounding board for their grievances and dislikes. Or did we leave the relationship and did not provide any closure? We were the only ones that handled these individuals with kid gloves and patience, and no one else ever would. When we left them, we insulted them. It's as if they're saying, how dare we leave them? Because we were expected to put up with them because no one else would. Because everyone else knows how they are, and that's why everyone else left. But think about their thought process, the twisted thinking. We should have stayed to put up with them. We left for our greater good. They don't see the issue with themselves. They still point the finger at us. But what about our health, our well-being, our sanity? Do you think these individuals care how our own aura and vibe takes serious damage every time we've allowed them to live rent-free in our head? Sadly, we may not notice anything different about ourselves. Trust me, others will. They don't want to be around us. They won't want to visit. We invite them to a function. They have other plans. They don't want to be bothered. We don't even have to say a word. We just notice how people scurry away like roaches when we come around. The interesting thing is this. Our aura speaks volumes of us before we even speak a word. Those who are negative are likely to be overly sensitive to criticism, even taking compliments the wrong way. You could literally tell them, have a good day, or I'll see you later. And they'll have a snappy response. Oh, you don't know me? Well, you're right, and I don't want to know you. To each his own. They interpret innocent remarks as being condescending or rude. They can't take a joke. They can't smile. They don't know how to live. Do you see how sad the mind can become so warped that common courtesy becomes an insult? So how do we deal with these individuals? That's why we're here, right? Because somewhere in our lives we just can't block or ignore fully because they are tied to us in some form or fashion. Do we continue to just turn the other cheek, or do we flip tables over? Do we see nonviolence as the answer, or are we more the by any means necessary type? People always point out how Jesus turned the other cheek, and how the Apostle Paul pointed out that we should return evil to no one, but failed to mention that Jesus also flipped over tables in the temple. And we know the Apostle Paul traveled through bad areas during his ministry. If not, then why did Mark leave Paul midway through their travels? Martin Luther King preached nonviolence, but Malcolm X promoted by any means necessary. Although these scenarios have negativity and other elements with them for those time periods, which is correct or incorrect? I look at scenarios in the Bible for what they were. Examples for us to imitate when we have tough times. However, it may have been much easier to turn the other cheek before, and easier to walk away and not return evil to no one. Circumstances were different. Levels of evil were different. In our world today, we could turn the other cheek, and we could get shot by the crazy ex or family member. We choose to walk away and not return evil, but evil keeps showing up and following us. Certain responses apply for each situation. And no, I'm not promoting violence. Notice Jesus was sure to have James and John with him for rougher people in tougher parts of town, which got them the nickname the Sons of Thunder. Paul knew he didn't want Mark traveling with him to certain areas because if something popped off, he needed someone with him he could trust and wasn't scared. For us, make sure we keep people around us we can trust also. These individuals will keep us balanced and positive. We may even need to document things with negative people that are set to take us down. Facts are like kryptonite to these individuals, and questions are equally terrible. Ask questions and wait for the answer. Do not give the answer. Like hot food burns the tongue, direct questions burn a hole in these individuals, and they back away. Until next time. They are working off lies and emotions, so questions screw their head up big time. If these individuals still have access to emailing and texting us, remember, not everything needs a response. Sometimes alternating between noted and received are beneficial. And as small as these words are, They are very powerful because they show the sender that we don't care about their long-winded email or text, and we're not entertaining their shenanigans. These types of individuals hate being ignored. Their ego can't take it or process it. It totally insults them knowing they are being ignored. Ignore often and respond less. But have your responses prepared and ready to go for a later date. Because at some point, you will respond to covering their complaints. But be sure to end your message, letting them know that you will not be responding to them anymore. I'd also suggest responding when the tone of the communication shows they have momentarily returned to their senses. They have to understand. Our response is dependent on their approach. They act like a child, so we have to treat them like a child. Orders of protection are very beneficial for a person that just can't leave us alone or take the hint. I can say Arizona is very swift about granting these. They are free and granted the same day. These keep the person in check and give them a reality check. And always keep your same energy and remain consistent until you see consistent changes from them. And they will return to their natural selves because acting right is out of their element. And that's perfectly all right because your mindset is so far beyond them and so far removed, and your aura is so completely clear, they will have no effect on you. Most importantly, avoid carrying negativity into your home. If the vibe feels off, open windows and doors and let the fresh air circulate. Bad vibes out, good air in. If you can't do that, light candles or incense. They don't even need to be scented. We all know every day will not be the best. So let's try not to bring these negative vibes into our sanctuary. Go for a walk. Go to the gym. Go anywhere to release the negative energy and let it freely flow out of your body. Then return to your castle, clear and refreshed. Suppose you can't leave your home. Well, do things in your home that you enjoy the most. I'm a bath kind of guy, so I'll put all kinds of bubbles and bath bombs and oils in the tub. I light candles, turn on the TV, put on a long movie, and sit in the bathtub and relax. Or I'll turn music on. Do what works for you. So my friends, don't let negativity ruin your happy life because we are so close to the finish line.